Today on November 18th, God says, I need to speak to your heart for just 2 minutes, and it matters right now. Don't scroll past this moment, open your spirit gently. My beloved child, before anything else settles inside you, breathe and listen closely. Not with the fear that something is wrong, but with the gentle awareness that something is reaching for you. There is a whisper moving toward you even now, asking for a moment of stillness so it can be heard, and you are not in danger of missing it. You are simply being invited into a softer space where your heart can unclench, where the noise around you can loosen its grip, and where presence will begin to override panic in a way that feels like a warm hand guiding you home. You have been carrying a tension that does not belong to you. You have felt the pull of urgency from the world, from your worries, from the quiet ache that says you should already have everything figured out. But this moment is not about pressure. This moment is about care. What feels like a sudden call is not a demand, it is an embrace. It is the gentle way heaven leans close when you've been moving through your days too quickly to notice the tenderness waiting for you. Stay with me, because there is something you are meant to hear in these next breaths. Not a warning, not a deadline, but a reassurance that was crafted for you long before today arrived. I know your heart has been tired. I know you've wondered whether you've been missing signs, missing timing, missing conversations you were supposed to have. But nothing meant for you has slipped away. Nothing true is vanishing. This whisper is simply opening a door so you can step into clarity instead of circling around worry. Feel the difference inside you right now. Notice how the panic begins to lose its power when love enters the room. Notice how your breathing slows when a message arrives not to startle you but to steady you. You are being held in a moment of alignment, a moment where heaven bends low to remind you that you are not walking alone, and you are not expected to solve everything in a single day. There is a reason this message found you today. There is a reason your spirit paused long enough to sense that something was reaching out. Let that pause become a place of peace instead of a place of fear. Let it guide you gently, the way a hand rests on your shoulder to remind you that you are safe, you are seen, and you are being guided with intention. Lean in just a little more, because the reassurance unfolding here is leading you toward a deeper calm that will shape the moments ahead. You are ready now. Stay with me as your breath finds you, my dear one. Let this moment come to you slowly, like light easing through a window after a long night. Before you try to understand anything, let your body understand first. Let your shoulders soften a little, even if they don't know how to drop all the way. Let your chest loosen, as though an unseen hand is gently reminding you that you were never meant to hold everything so tightly. Feel the faint warmth gathering beneath your ribs, not demanding your attention, just inviting it. You've spent so many hours moving with racing thoughts, trying to solve problems faster than your spirit can rest, trying to outrun doubts that were never meant to define you. But right here, in this quiet pause, you don't need to chase anything. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to breathe. Let the inhale rise like a small wave lifting you, and let the exhale fall like a soft release you didn't know your body was craving. There is a different rhythm waiting for you, one that leads you from tension into openness without forcing a single step. Feel how your breathing starts to widen the space inside you. Feel how your chest grows warmer as your breath deepens, as if something sacred is clearing a path through the tightness you carried all day. Let the air move in slowly, filling the corners of your being you forgot to visit. Let it leave even slower, carrying out the worries that gathered without permission. Each breath becomes a doorway, and each doorway leads you farther from the frantic pace of your thoughts and closer to the steadiness of your heart. You are not trying to silence your mind. You are allowing your soul to rise above the noise. With every inhale, you gather strength. With every exhale, you release weight. That is the contrast unfolding within you now, the shift from racing to resting, from gripping to opening, from surviving the moment to being held by it. Let yourself notice how even the smallest breath can become a refuge when you receive it with intention. Notice how your body already knows what peace feels like, even when your thoughts forget. Stay with this feeling. Stay with this slow, gentle settling. You don't need to rush away. Let your breath teach you that presence is not something you force, it's something you allow. As you soften into this moment, a quiet clarity begins to rise, preparing your heart for what is ready to unfold next. My beloved child, you've carried an ache that rarely gets spoken aloud, yet it shapes the way you move through your days. You've waited for clarity that seemed to stay just out of reach, and in the silence you wondered if something was wrong with you. You've wondered if God forgot your name, if heaven misplaced your prayer, if your hope was asking for too much. You've worried that the delay meant denial, and that the confusion meant you were somehow failing. But listen closely now, because none of that has been true. You have been seen in every trembling moment, even when you felt lost inside them. You've waited, you've wondered, you've worried, and each of those moments has carved a hollow space inside you where longing and questions echo. You've replayed conversations, messages, and memories, searching for a sign that would finally make everything make sense. You've tried to be strong even when your heart felt too tender to hold another unanswered request. And still, you kept moving, kept hoping, kept believing that something beyond your understanding was working in the background. That persistence is not a flaw. It is evidence of how deeply your soul knows there is more for you than the confusion you've been walking through. There is a longing beneath your confusion that you have barely dared to name, a longing for direction, reassurance, connection, and a sense that your steps matter. You've asked for answers, but what you truly wanted was to feel held while you waited. You've asked for clarity, but what you really sought was the comfort of knowing you were not alone in the uncertainty. That hidden longing has shaped your prayers even when the words wouldn't form. It has softened you, stretched you, and carved a deeper capacity for peace than you realize. And right now, that longing is beginning to be acknowledged. You haven't been forgotten, you've been protected. Every delay you cursed became a doorway that kept harm from reaching you. Every moment you felt overlooked was actually a moment you were being guided away from something that would have weighed you down. This is the contrast you're starting to feel, the shift from assuming loss to discovering alignment. The ache that once felt like abandonment is becoming the evidence that something wiser than your timing has been unfolding. And if you listen closely, you'll notice the soft truth rising within you, the truth that none of your waiting has been wasted. Stay with me, because there is more stirring beneath your confusion than you have yet understood. The ache you carry is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something is awakening within you. The places where you feel most uncertain are often the places where new clarity is preparing to rise. You are standing in the quiet before recognition, the threshold where heaven whispers instead of shouts. And though you may not see it clearly yet, you will soon understand why every unanswered prayer felt delayed, why every longing felt suspended in midair. A deeper alignment has been forming, arranging what your heart has been too weary to articulate. Let yourself feel the pull toward understanding, because what has been hidden is beginning to take shape within you. My dear one, there are moments when what feels like a delay is actually a shield placed gently around you. You wondered why certain doors closed so abruptly, yet those closures were subtle forms of protection guiding you away from unseen burdens. In the quiet between your questions, divine choreography was arranging circumstances that would support you rather than exhaust your already tender heart. This is the part you couldn't see before, the gentle wisdom woven into every moment that felt like disappointment or denial. Closed doors were not rejections, they were redirections preparing you for spaces that match your spirit rather than drain it. When you think back, you may notice small hesitations, quiet pauses, or inner nudges that slowed you just long enough to protect your path. You weren't being stalled, you were being saved from what your heart wasn't meant to carry. This contrast between what you expected and what actually unfolded is becoming clearer as you soften into awareness. There is a timing that moves beyond your plans, a rhythm guided by peace rather than pressure. When the right door opens, you will recognize it not by urgency, but by the calm that settles into your chest before you even step forward. This is how divine timing works. It aligns with your inner peace, not your fear or your impatience. What once felt like stagnation will soon reveal itself as sacred preparation, forming strength where emptiness once lived. Stay with me, because the clarity you've been seeking is beginning to rise quietly beneath your confusion, gathering shape like dawn behind clouds. You will look back and see how every unexpected pause became the very thing that kept you aligned with what is meant to last. Nothing was withheld from you, everything was timed for you, arranged with intention and patient love. Even the moments you labeled as setbacks were actually pauses created to prevent you from stepping into situations that lacked genuine safety. As you breathe more softly, you will begin to sense the truth that your path has been guarded with remarkable care. What once frustrated you will start to feel like grace, and what once confused you will begin to feel like alignment. This shift is subtle at first, but it grows stronger each time you trust the calm instead of the urgency. Soon, you will feel a steady certainty guiding you, replacing the restless pressure that once pushed you toward premature choices. You are being led towards something that fits you, something that will honor the depth of who you have become. Let your heart loosen, because the timing that once felt harsh is revealing itself as kindness written in a language your spirit is finally beginning to understand. You are stepping into a season where doors will open with ease instead of force, and you will recognize them by the peace that meets you first. Trust the gentle unfolding, because what is meant for you is approaching in a rhythm designed to steady your spirit rather than overwhelm it. And as that rhythm becomes familiar, you will feel yourself carried toward clarity that arrives not with pressure, but with a quiet, undeniable peace. Let this assurance settle within you gently, reminding you that patience has been working in your favor all along. My beloved child, there have been moments when something small brushed against your awareness, asking you to pause. A number on a clock that appeared too often to be coincidence, a song that arrived at the exact second your heart whispered a question, a dream that felt more like a message than a memory. These signs have not come to overwhelm you or make you chase meaning in every shadow. They come to guide you gently, to draw your attention away from the noise and toward the clarity that has been trying to reach you. They are reminders that you are not moving through your days unseen, and that alignment often begins with the softest nudge. When you notice 1111 or 555 glowing unexpectedly on your path, it isn't a command or a warning. It's a quiet tap on your shoulder, a signal that something within you is shifting. These signs appear when your spirit rises above the frantic pace of your thoughts, when you momentarily slip into the rhythm of what is true rather than what is loud. The contrast between noise and clarity becomes sharper in these moments. What once felt chaotic softens, and you feel a brief sense of connection that doesn't make sense to the mind but feels unmistakably real to the heart. That feeling is not an accident. It is the first layer of guidance. Songs play at the right moment for a reason. Dreams return for a reason. A line you hear in passing feels like it was spoken directly to you for a reason. These experiences are not meant to make you obsess over symbols or chase after them. They are simply invitations to slow down and notice when your inner world is aligning with something greater than your current worries. Instead of trying to decode everything, let the feeling of the moment be enough. Let the warmth in your chest or the sudden ease in your breath become your sign that you are being guided with care. Stay with me, because there is something important unfolding beneath your awareness. A sign is approaching, one that you won't need to search for or question. You will feel it internally before you see it externally. It may come through a calm that arrives suddenly, or a knowing that wasn't there an hour before, or a moment of peace that feels like it doesn't match your circumstances at all. That inner shift will be the true guidance, and whatever follows in your outer world will only confirm what your spirit already recognized. You don't need to hunt for signs. You only need to stay open enough to receive the gentle ones that were meant for you. When they appear, don't rush to interpret them. Instead, notice how your body responds. Notice the soft chills, the stillness, the quiet warmth settling beneath your ribs. These sensations are the language of alignment, telling you that you're being prepared for something meaningful. And as the next sign approaches, trust that you will recognize it not by urgency, but by the calm that reaches you first. My beloved child, before your mind begins to wander toward what is next, let this moment meet you right where you are. You've walked through so much noise today, so many expectations tugging at your spirit, and you deserve a pause that brings you back to yourself. These small practices are not about perfection or performance. They are about giving your heart a place to rest, even if only for a few breaths. When life feels too large, sometimes the holiest thing you can do is choose one gentle act that reminds your body it is safe to soften again. Pause, breathe, return. Let those words wash through you like a soft rhythm, steady and patient. Pause, not to freeze, but to loosen your grip on the rush around you. Breathe, not just air, but a little mercy, a little room for your soul to stretch. Return, not to old worries, but to the quiet space inside you where peace has been waiting all along. This small sequence is your doorway back into yourself, a way to reclaim your presence when your thoughts scatter in 1,000 directions. Place your hand over your heart if you can. Feel the warmth of your own touch, the steady pulse beneath your palm. This simple gesture tells your nervous system, I am here. I am safe. It grounds you in your body after hours of living in your head. Let your inhale rise into your hand as if you're filling a small lantern with light. Let your exhale fall as though you're releasing a weight you've been carrying unconsciously since morning. Overwhelm begins to melt the moment your breath stops fighting you and begins moving with you. If a moment of prayer feels natural, let it be soft and unforced. Something as simple as "guide me" or "steady me" or "be near" can open a window inside you. Prayer isn't about finding the perfect words, it's about allowing your soul to speak in its simplest language. And if words won't come, silence is enough. The divine can hear the shape of your longing far beyond anything you could articulate. Let your mind drift for just a second toward one thing that anchored you today, a kind word, a bit of sunlight, a memory that made you feel gentler. Hold it lightly, not to cling to it, but to remind yourself that even in the hardest hours, something good still found you. That reflection is part of your restoration. It lifts you from overwhelm and places you back into awareness. Pause, breathe, return. Let this tiny reset become a refuge you can carry anywhere. And as your breath settles, feel how the quiet inside you begins to open, making room for the next gentle truth waiting to meet you. My dear one, there will come a moment when something inside you becomes unmistakably quiet. It won't be the silence of doubt or the stillness that follows exhaustion. It will be a deep, steady certainty rising without effort. You will feel yourself settling into a sense of alignment you didn't need to chase or demand. Before anything external shifts, you'll feel the calm before the answer, a peace that arrives like a soft dawn across your chest. My dear one, as this gentle restoration begins to settle inside you, the coming days will offer small invitations to anchor what you've been feeling. These aren't large commitments or heavy responsibilities. They're quiet choices meant to steady your spirit so you don't slip back into the overwhelm that once felt unavoidable. Think of them as soft companions walking beside you, helping you remain grounded even when life grows loud again. And if at any moment you feel yourself drifting into old patterns, come back to this, come back to these words, come back to the calm that is already forming within you. Each morning, before your thoughts begin their familiar rush, take a moment to check in with yourself. Place a hand over your heart, breathe once, and simply notice. Notice whether you feel open or tense, hopeful or drained, clear or foggy. This small act of noticing is not about fixing anything. It's about becoming aware of what your inner world is asking for. Awareness is the first step toward peace, because peace can only enter a space you're willing to acknowledge. When you consciously choose this pause, even for a few seconds, the day meets you differently. Your spirit leads instead of your fear. Journaling may also become a helpful companion in these days ahead. You don't need perfect sentences or polished reflections. Write a few lines about what feels heavy and what feels hopeful. Write down the thoughts that try to pull you back into worry, and the small moments that bring you relief. When you put your inner landscape onto paper, you make room for clarity to rise. You'll begin to see patterns you didn't notice before, and you'll recognize the subtle ways peace is trying to reach you. Journaling is not about solving your life, it's about making space inside your heart so that wisdom can breathe. As you move through your days, pay gentle attention to synchronicities, not with obsession, but with openness. If a repeated number catches your eye, let it remind you to breathe. If a familiar lyric shows up at just the right moment, let it reassure you that you're not walking alone. If a dream lingers in your mind after waking, let its feelings sit with you before you rush into the day. These small moments don't demand interpretation, they simply anchor your awareness to the truth that you are supported. They help you stay connected to the deeper current moving beneath the surface of your life. When overwhelm tries to reclaim space in your mind, choose one tiny step back toward grounded peace. Step outside for a moment of air. Sip water slowly. Close your eyes for a single breath. These micro-choices create a path your heart can follow, a path that leads you away from fear and toward presence. You don't have to do them all. You only need to choose one. And then choose again when you're ready. Come back to this whenever you need to steady yourself. Let these simple steps remind you that peace is not distant, it's something you cultivate, one soft moment at a time. Before, my beloved child, your days were marked by a quiet ache you rarely allowed yourself to name. You moved through moments with the sense that something was missing, something wasn't lining up, something inside you kept reaching for meaning that never quite settled. You felt the weight of unanswered questions pressing against your chest, and even when you were surrounded by others, the confusion still sat with you like a soft shadow. You felt lost far more often than you admitted, and you wondered whether anyone, on earth or in heaven, truly saw how much effort it took just to keep going. But after, something began to shift. After, a calm emerged where fear once crouched. After, the questions did not vanish, but they softened. You began to sense that clarity could rise inside you before circumstances aligned. You noticed that the heaviness you carried started to loosen in subtle ways. You found yourself breathing more naturally, moving more gently, trusting more quietly. The change wasn't loud, but it was real. And you felt it first in the places you once felt most alone. Before, illusion tried to convince you that unanswered meant abandoned. It whispered lies that your delays were punishments, that your worth depended on how quickly your life unfolded, that every closed door was a reflection of your inadequacy. You feared the silence, interpreted it as rejection, and braced yourself against every unknown. You wandered through confusion hoping for one sign strong enough to pull you out of your doubts. But after, the truth began to replace the illusion. The truth told you that silence can be protection, that delay can be alignment, that closed doors can be divine tenderness in disguise. The truth showed you that the voice of fear always rushes, but the voice of faith settles. You felt the difference. You sensed which voice spoke from love. You recognized that what you thought was emptiness was actually preparation, shaping your spirit long before the blessing appeared. Before, you reacted from panic. You grasped for reassurance. You tried to decode every moment, every sign, every shift. You felt responsible for holding everything together, even the things never meant for you to carry. Your heart was tired from reaching in the dark, hoping to catch something that would finally make you feel safe. But after, a new knowing began to grow in your chest. You responded with steadiness instead of fear. You trusted the warmth that rose beneath your ribs. You allowed peace to reach you before the answer did. You began to see that guidance doesn't shout, it whispers. And you realized that you no longer needed to chase every possibility, you could rest and let what was meant for you move toward you. Before, your journey felt like wandering. After, it feels like unfolding. Before, you felt alone in your longing. After, you understand that heaven has been walking with you the entire time. Before, you doubted your path. After, you sense the quiet certainty that you are aligned with something deeper and wiser than you ever imagined. Stay with this truth, my dear one. Let the contrast remind you how far you've come. Let the clarity rising within you confirm that your inner shift is real. You are not who you were at the beginning of this journey, and the peace you feel now is only the beginning of what is still becoming. My dear one, before you step back into the rhythm of your day, let this moment rest gently over you. You have walked through reflection, honesty, stillness, and awakening, and now you stand in a softer light than the one you began with. Feel it settling around you like a warm cloak, not heavy, not demanding, just present. Let your shoulders relax into it. Let your breath deepen into it. Let your heart receive what it's been longing to feel, that you are not walking this journey alone, not now, not ever. There have been seasons when you carried everything by yourself. Seasons when your questions echoed back to you with no answer. Seasons where you convinced yourself that strength meant silence, and courage meant pretending you didn't need anyone. That was the before. The part of your story shaped by survival and uncertainty. But what you are stepping into now is different. It is a path held by guidance, softened by grace, brightened by small signs and steady peace. You are supported in ways you have not yet fully seen. So hear this blessing over your life today. May peace find you in the places where fear once lived. May clarity rise in the spaces confusion used to fill. May your breath come easily, your thoughts move gently, and your steps align with the truth that you are loved beyond measure. May every closed door reveal its purpose in time, and may every open door greet you with warmth before you even cross its threshold. And may you feel, in each quiet moment, the unmistakable nearness of the one who has walked with you through every shadow and every sunrise. My dear one, I bless your heart with rest, your mind with light, your path with alignment, and your days with a calm that cannot be shaken. I bless your relationships with sincerity and gentleness. I bless your hopes with patience and your healing with softness. And I bless the unfolding ahead of you, trusting that it will meet you with the very peace you have been practicing in these moments we've shared. If you felt held here, if something in these words has steadied you or reminded you of what's still possible, know that you are welcome to stay connected. Not by pressure, and not by obligation, but by choice. By desire. By the simple truth that journeys become lighter when we walk them with others who understand. You are invited, softly, to be part of this circle of prayer and reflection, a place where hearts like yours gather for encouragement, calm, and companionship. If you feel led, share your experience or your prayer request. Someone will hold it with you. You don't have to carry everything in silence anymore. And if you choose to return, whenever you need grounding, reassurance, or a reminder that peace is still possible, I'll be here. Come back to these words when your breath feels tight. Come back when the world feels loud. Come back when you simply want to feel seen again. This space will remain open for you, just as heaven's guidance remains open for you. Go gently now, my dear one. Walk with a softened heart, a clearer spirit, and the quiet confidence that you are guided, supported, and deeply loved, far more than you know.